Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from our comfy couch here in the Oscars, and that's the Gaming Saloon reviews for February 16th, 2025, which I host Peacemaker 248 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
It's the second to last batch of Drive episodes.
Which I'm kind of surprised because it kind of doesn't feel like that.
It didn't really click until I watched the preview, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's kind of like the last confrontation with Banno right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is it. Also doesn't help that, like, yeah, it's the final, like, we have one more batch, but technically it's only 3 more episodes.
Well, it's 3 and a special.
Yeah, because back then we were doing final episode specials. Because, what is it? Wizard had a 2-parter. Gaim basically had a 1-episode special, even though nobody was featured in it from Drive. Drive had a 1-episode special. Ghost had a 1-episode special, I believe.
I don't remember because I don't think I finished Ghost when it was live, so...
Except we did Ghost for TGSR.
And I don't remember it.
I think it was 1 episode. And I don't think X8 had a 1-episode special, but I do remember not Sento showing up in the episode.
Yeah.
Because I remember for the Ghost one, Emu and Dan show up. But yeah, we had a string of like, well, the last episode basically doesn't contribute to the plot.
I also find it immensely funny that the second episode in this batch, if anyone didn't go watch the movie, that would actually contain the first visual for Ghost.
Yeah.
Because one of the cuts that they have in the opening is Ghost.
Is alternate universe Sakaru.
Yep.
Because, like, for all of you who are like, this isn't Takaru, I'm like, no, it is Takaru. It's just an alternate universe Takaru.
It's the Takaru we were supposed to get.
It is a Takaru that has more of a ties to the Genma world because of how his logo is.
Like I said, it was the one we were supposed to get.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't have the rest of the episodes for Drive besides 45. Because once I was done with 41 and 42, I was like, all right, I'll move on to 43. Didn't have it. 44? Nope. 45? Yes. 6, 7, and 8? Nope. For some reason, I didn't have those downloaded in my folder of Toku stuff.
Huh.
So I had to go find a download of just those batch, a handful of episodes, and technically I'm watching a different subgroup version of them from what the rest of mine are because I can't get that subgroup one because no one's seeding it.
Which one is the rest?
I believe Overtime is the main. Right, no, it's not Overtime, is it? Let me look real quick.
It might have been.
Yeah, Overtime is what I normally have for Drive. And where did those episodes go?
Because I was gonna say if it was the TV Neon ones, then I have a link that actually has those versions.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's not, yeah.
Alright, let me go along that way getting this. It was OZC Live, because it was their subversion of the Blu-ray release of the series.
Huh.
Because I have a torrent file that is like everything writer. So if I need something, I can just pull up that torrent and just go, all right, what specific thing do I need? I forget who's done this up, but somebody, I think somebody in the Discord I'm in, had technically did that up. And it's also like formatted it for if you have like a Plex server, that Plex, it's an easy import into Plex. You want to do like streaming to your TV and stuff via Plex. But yeah, I had to do that in the middle of me watching the episodes.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is 41 through 44 this week, folks. Any thoughts going into them?
No?
There's one specific thing in an episode I'm like, what? How did I react to this when I wrote up the review, since all my notes are from my reviews I did a long time ago? Nothing has changed in my opinion from back then. I just had more hope. Good to know. You can probably guess what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Especially because I hit a point and it didn't dawn on me until later. I'm just like, oh, that's you done for the rest of the show, basically. Damn, that sucks. Anywho, we will kick things off with episode 41. How was the Golden Drive born? We are at a local hospital where a bunch of female patients have gone unconscious, and now one singular nurse, because they missed some person, presumably named Show. The team is called in to investigate. They don't find signs of a Roidmute though, but then Rena starts getting whammied and then passes out, and well, apparently it's connected to a mysterious patient that is in the coma, kind of a waking coma, I guess. They are catatonic, and it looks exactly like Medic because it is the person Medic copied. We also see Medic observing this, and this is apparently all her plan. She also has a dog now because reasons we'll get to later. And she is forcing Brain to help take care of it. And Brain does not appreciate that.
His Brain apparently is a cat person.
I guess. As the team investigates to find out that the same part of the brain on all the people is being activated, which is the emotional part, and this leads Chase into the 3-4 episode long thing of him trying to figure out what love is and asking everybody what love is. It leads to 3 different scenes of him first asking Tamari about if he loves Kiriko, and then Tamari flipping out and be like, no, I don't love her at all. Absolutely not whatsoever. Naming off all these things about her. And then he asks Go, and Go's like, piss off. do not get involved with my sister in any capacity. And then he asks Kiriko eventually, and Kiriko does exactly what Tamari does, meaning those two share an exact same brain cell in this situation. And I do appreciate Chase. This is like, Well, they're a perfect match for each other. I feel sad about this, but I'm also okay with it. Once more proving Chase is like the best character in the show. Team also spots that Banno is overlooking all the stuff with Medic and Brain, so they think he's in cahoots with it. Banno shows up and tries to take over Medic by just slapping his belt self onto her waist. It only works so much as the riders fight her, and then Hart shows up and just rips the belt off. He's like, I'm having none of this. Fuck off, Banno. We also find out at this point that Medic used to dress in white when she first got her human form. I lost my train of thought. Team heads back to the hospital, figures out what's going on with Medic. Go heads out to try to find Banno. We do find out that the girl Medic copied was a ballet dancer and had a boyfriend who shows up, but that's not doing anything for her. And his name is also not Show. Hart meets up with 006, and he goes off to find Banno. Weird part is this. Honestly, these two episodes just are very slow and take a while, which is probably why I'm having trouble recapping them.
Probably.
Let's see. Tamari and Chase meant to run into Medic eventually. Meanwhile, Brain catches up with 06 and his roid new crew taking on Banno. Banno quickly takes out 06's crew and then takes out 06 himself and just claims his body. And that is how we get Gourd Drive. That is technically the official romanization of the name. It's supposed to be Golden Drive. Also, he's technically not a writer because reasons. I don't know why, but he's technically not a writer. He has never been a writer.
Even though technically he should be.
Yeah, because he's a belt. He said he has a belt. He is a belt. He's Ascension. He's literally just the dark version of Krim and Tamari.
Yep. And from a technical stance, if you say that he's not a writer, then you would also have to say that Tamari isn't either. Because when you tie Tridron into it, there's no difference then. Because Krim can take over Tamari's body at that point.
Mm-hmm. Which again, I am realizing as we're watching these episodes, he did that a lot more than I thought he did.
Yeah, I thought it was only the once.
Yeah, but it's like, no, he does it several times. I guess it's because he doesn't do anything big when he does it.
Maybe.
Because, like, what major thing has he done since when he takes over Tamari's body?
Besides just sell the enemy?
Yeah, I was going to say, besides the movie, but it's plot important for the movie. Because I feel like it's just like, well, he does it for like a minute in a fight scene and then he's done. And then Tamari takes back over. And I think we only ever see him use a shield once, which is the only thing unique.
I do legitimately think that this batch is the last that we see that. Because I don't think in the last part of it we see it.
I'm pretty sure as well, because I think it's Tamari for the entire time. Because I distinctly remember it's basically how this is going to work out. It is our 3 riders plus 2 of our remaining roid mutes against Banno and everybody else. And I feel like I remember how all that plays out. So I remember those last 3 episodes. Anywho, Go eventually shows up and tries to fight Banno, fails miserably because, oh no, Banno can steal our weapons because that's just how Gold Drive works. Like, he can steal them and he can steal, like, basically signal bites and shift cars. So he takes out Go. Yeah. So he takes out Go for a bit, and then he's like, hello, brain. And I believe the episode ends with Medic talking to the other 2 riders as Medic's dog reaches the girl, and she says something that I could swear Kiriko is supposed to be able to hear because she's the one with her, but I think it goes unaddressed the entire next episode. I could swear Kiriko was with her that scene. But we also get, since this is technically where we're supposed to kind of like go into Surprise Future technically, we get the last of the mini episodes with Tamari Edgy supposedly returning or coming to the present and getting chased by Dark Drive, leading into both his and Dark Drive's entrances into the movie properly, even though Dark Drive technically shows up earlier. But like we said when we were talking about Surprise Future, all of these episodes are lying to you. This is not how it goes. But we will continue on to episode 42. What is the truth about the goddess? Medic finally talks about her past, where she basically found the girl after the global freeze stuff calmed down. She copied her as she was dying from a car accident, healed her so she didn't die, and that allowed her to get basically healing powers. And then she tried to heal roid mutes and stuff. Unfortunately, the trade-off is she gets all their negative emotions, so that's what caused her to get the black dress and stuff, and basically get a little sadistic. I looked at the Wikipedia page for all the roid mutes that showed up in these flashbacks. Only 2 of significance, and they're actually in a later flashback. It was Sword and Sound, I believe. So one of the hybrid ones, and then one of the early, like, standalone roid mute ones were the ones she healed. Otherwise, it was just random numbers. Hell, it was a number that showed up, I think, in the next episode and dies to the police. But Tamari wants to help her because it should help the girl as well. And that's when Banno shows up to rain on the parade. Where he's got Brain in tow, and he's like, hey, Medic, I can help you do stuff. And Medic's like, you know what? I will trust you for now, and goes with him. But before that, Banno shows off by pretty much stealing Trideron and then taking out Drive and Chase. Back in the pit, the team regroups. This is where they find out that the girl was a ballet dancer. And also, this is where Tamari gets the clue about the dog situation, even though Kiriko probably should have told him. We also find out that her boyfriend is a bit of a scumbag and was the one that ran her over, which they thankfully stop him from trying to kill her again. and arrest him. And they also reunite her with her proper dog, who I guess was just hanging out at the ballet company for like the last year or so, waiting for her to come back. Very loyal dog. Brain gets confronted by Hart over Medic being handed over to, or Medic going with Banno. Hart's like, I'm going to kill you, except as we find out later, not really. I just want you to fuck off and disappear and not get in, not work with Banno, because if he gets all three of us, we're screwed. So leave, disappear. Catching up with Medic, we find out that she's been purified by Banno. She ends up fighting Go and Chase for a bit. But when the girl gets her dog back, Medic then gets her evolution. And unfortunately, it also comes with the downside of she gets whammied by Banno, who programmed in a thing of, oh, she gets it. She's basically my puppet now. And Banno's going to use that to blackmail Hart into working for him.
Among other things.
Yeah. Brain feels sorry about what happened to Medic. And then Kiriko and Chase are going to have a small conversation as Tabari looks on about love and all that, which ends this two-parter. So how'd you feel about the first half?
It has its slow points, but I think it's because it's trying to set up everything.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, all of this sets up the stage literally for the last episodes.
Yeah, just most of the story feels like a very early in this show kind of story, but it's all here just to get Medic to her golden evolution form so we can have our 4 golden evolutions, so we can move the plot along, because we basically have 6 episodes left. Well, 5 episodes left technically, so we gotta get that finale going. Also, I do appreciate in saying, hey, we have a final boss and he's only going to be around for 6 episodes basically. He's not around to
actually be a nuisance and then get destroyed.
Yeah, he's around enough to kick our riders' asses to prove that he is powerful, and then he'll die.
Forever.
Until Outsiders, who brought him back in a bronze form. Which I still haven't watched all of Outsiders to rate it on my tier list, because I don't know if I have the strength to. I don't even have the strength to work my way through Fies and Kiva, so I can say I've watched all of Heisei and Railroad Rider. But I'm like, Outsiders is a fucking mess of a thing. I know it is, and I don't know if I could tolerate going through, I think, basically like an hour of content. I think it's probably less than that. Anywho.
I mean, is it considered canon?
It's as canon as you desire it to be.
So then, yeah, he dies forever.
Zane shows up in one Gotchard episode, and that's about as much as any, like, I think main series show has acknowledged Outsiders. So it's happening in the background, I guess. I honestly, I don't know. I don't particularly care, because it doesn't feel like anything really of significance happens, as far as I know. I also love that they're like Outsiders. Like, I think it was, they did like a DN question mark, and I'm like, why are you threatening me with a terrible time? Why does this feel like a threat more than a promise? Anywho, shall we hit the second half?
Guess so.
All right, episode 43. When will the second global freeze start? We kick off with the Roid Mute getting gunned down by the police and destroyed fully because Rita's gotten them equipment that lets them take out a Roid Mute before it like evolves into any like specific unique form. So as long as they're in one of like the 3 basic forms, the cops can handle them. She also has like the backpack basically operational, but she's working on like smaller versions that are like more like clipped to the hip. And
that are totally not mock drivers.
I was about to say, I thought this was a separate piece than the mock driver.
They function. They function the same. It's one of those now.
But yeah, she has basically repainted the mock driver in a dark blue and repainted the Trideron key as the police key. And now folks can turn into basically mock on a paintball weekend. And we see that with June, the chief, as he becomes Kamen Rider June. And I believe also this is the one and only time it happens in the show.
It is.
I thought so. Because I'm like, he's going to transform into the scene. And he's going to transform for a Steam and drive Ghost. And then this is basically done. And then Oda gets to use it for the final stage show. And then this concept is dead. And a fucking waste. Because literally the one person, and I literally said this in the review, I'm like, the one person who should have this fucking belt will never get it. Against my hopes. Literally. The one person, and they're like, nope, we gotta sideline her for the rest of the finale, basically. Literally sideline her, and I'm like, God fucking damn it, Drive. I'm remembering why I'm like, Drive, you are so close to a really great show, but you fumble something so badly right at the end, and it makes me not want to put you higher. Anyway, they find out that a Roid Mute was scouting out locations and stuff, and they're suspecting that it's where the global freeze is going to happen at. There's also about 22 Roid Mutes left. We're going to knock that number down by like 6 by the end of this episode. 6 or 7? I forget. Anyway, we get all the stuff with like Tamari and Kiriko like over the course of these 2 episodes. So just skip over all that. We check in with Hart as he's playing lackey to Banno, and Elsa's like, Brain? I don't know where Brain is. Who's Brain? He got a golden evolution since when? I don't remember that. Basically the rest of the Roid Mutes plus Medic are going after Brain in his not very good disguise of just him in a different outfit. Good job, Brain. Riders show up and take out the Roid Mutes, but both Brain and Medic get away. But now the team's on to Brain being on the outs with everybody for some reason. They've also figured out at this point when they regroup that 4 golden evolutions will basically let them freeze the entire planet, whereas the global freeze before only did about like a quarter of the planet. I.e., it did Japan and then like a little bit into like Southeast and East Asia from like how they showed it. So like a little bit into China, and I think a little bit into like Korea and the like. So they have to put a stop to it now. Rena's also taken the time to coat the formula cannon and then all of their form change stuff to not get stolen by Banno now. I don't know why she didn't do the rest of their stuff while she was at it. And also why Tamari decided to summon something in a later fight that he knew wasn't covered. But oh well. At this point, 004 reveals himself to be basically an evil Krim that copied Krim before he died, and has been working with Banno this entire time because Banno made him that way. We check in with Brain as he's stolen a tablet and has snuck into the CIA, the Japanese CIA, to get enough computing power to figure out how to free Medic. We also learn a tiny bit about the person he copied, which is a deputy director of the CIA who basically has all the quirks we've seen Brain have the entire time. Krim and Banno interrupts, try to get Brain. Tamari shows up. He fights Evil Krim and Banno for a bit. Summons his gun and sword even though they're not covered, so those get stolen, and then he's fighting Krim and Banno solo until I think Chase shows up eventually. Oh no, Kiriko's with him, and he tries to like hit Banno with the trailer cannon. Hart takes the shot, causes some rubble to fall, and then like Kiriko gets injured, which is going to sideline her for the rest of the finale. Like, she's going to be in a hospital the whole rest of the show, except for like the end of the last episode, I believe, which is a goddamn shame. Which will take us to episode 44, where Go and Chase finally show up. Tamari evacs Kiriko with Mad Doctor as Go and Chase try to fight Banno and Evil Krim. They fail, but Brain does get away. At this point, Brain's like, well, time for plan B, and surrenders to Medic, meaning he's gonna work with Banno. Oh, technically that was also this episode. Anyway, we finally catch up with our villains at like a lakeside beach. Our team managed to follow them there through a lead left by Mr. X, who is not Go this time, as we'll find out later. It's actually Banno. Our 4 evolutions power up a Sigma Circular, which the team thinks will activate the goal, will freeze, so they try to interrupt it. They unfortunately don't make it in time before it activates, but it's not there. It's just to charge it, and the excess energy is being outputted in the Medic and will kill her, because Banno's like, I'm going to take out your healer so you don't cause problems anymore. Unfortunately for him, Brain saw this coming and redirects it into him and basically sacrifices himself to save Medic and by extension Heart. And he just disintegrates after saying bye to the 2 of them, which pisses off everybody, because I love at that point the rest of the Roid mutants are dead that Banno had with him. So Tamari, Go, and Chase are all closing in on Banno, who's just laughing maniacally to himself because he got undermined for once. But then Hart chimes in and is like, no, I call dibs first, his ass is mine. And Medic's like, I'm with you on this. So the 5 of them have him surrounded, only for Banno to be like, actually, plan B. Evil Krim, he actually like captures them all in like a electromagnetic tornado, and then uses Evil Krim to try to blow them all up as he makes off with the Sigma Circular to where the global freeze will actually happen. And that is where we end the episode. So how do you feel about the back end?
Kind of good to actually, have a show that tries to slowly tie up the loose ends and not just say, oh, right, we've got to do this, it's done.
Yeah.
Because with all 3 of are roid mutes. They're not just going to be a we're killing it off and done.
Hmm.
They all three have weight behind them.
Yeah, they basically, like, at least, just to get a little bit of spoilers for 2 weeks from now's episodes, Brain and Medic both get heroic sacrifices. Heart gets a delayed heroic sacrifice, technically. I say delayed because it's like he did the heroic sacrifice, but then he was like, nope, I want one more fight, and then doesn't get it because he goes to dust before he can really get into the fight.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the reason that they like were more than happy to give at least 2/3 of them a writer form, because it's like, yeah, no, we basically, I wouldn't say we turned them good by the end, but we redeemed them a bit.
Well, they never really were evil, technically.
No.
Because there was times, which is what really kind of made some of them more compelling for being the enemies of the show. There's been a few times where Hart has literally said, it's not a case of he wants to enslave everyone. He just thinks that they're more suitable to run the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a case of he's killing to kill or killing because he wants to rule. He's applying logic, saying, you unscrew everything up. We don't. This should work.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like everything about the Roid Mutes was tainted because Banno's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's weird how like there's so many parallels I feel like you can pull between Drive and 01 and how they both treat their cybernetic life forms. And a part of me feels like Drive did it better.
I think yes, for the simple fact of 01 had outside circumstances.
Yeah.
With us not being able to see the entirety of how it was originally planned, that's the question mark.
I feel like 01 would at least be on par if they committed to Guy being an absolute piece of shit and being responsible for everything and went like, no, he's full villain. He doesn't get redemption. No, he's just as crazy and maniacal as like Banno. Like if they committed to that, I feel like they would at least be on par with each other, because it's like, no, we admit this is the reason everything happened. This person is the problem. He drove everyone mad and caused all the problems. Without him, things would be better. There could at least be a communication between the cybernetic life form in humanity and building a better future. But because of these specific people, everything went to shit. And it takes us an entire show to get back on track. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I think with 01 they tried to offload that onto the arc. The problem is the reason the arc is how he is because of Guy. And then it gets back to why is Guy allowed scot-free on this? And also because of extra 01 content, he's basically like one of the last 2 or 3 riders standing, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, Drive continues to be really good, and I'm looking at my tier list real quick. Or up, that's not it. I'm trying to think if I do change the position on it. I feel like I have to like wait till 2 weeks from now, because right now it's in the second to best tier. It's behind Yeats, but in front of 01. I don't know if it goes up. Because I feel like I've come out more positive on Drive off this rewatch. But I don't know if that puts it above Geats.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. My heart says you fucked up Kiriko's arc at the finish line, or not really at the finish line, well before then. You screwed up her getting to be cool and doing action stuff. That's enough. Because otherwise you're a good show. I don't really have many other faults with the show. But that's enough. Because at least with Geats, like comparatively, Nago got to do cool stuff. She basically got a final form, even though it's only a top half and not a bottom half, but she got to do cool stuff. Additionally, like Lopo got to do cool stuff. So
we are dealing with two completely different times.
Yeah, we're dealing with an era where it's like, oh yeah, we will do female writer stuff instead of a era where we were coming off a show where we fucked up a female writer's arc right at the end in Gaim. Literally at the finish line, just like, because I feel like this was said as well, because it was a talk on like a Toku Nation board of like, why are people complaining about Marika dying? And it's like, most people were like, no one minded if Marika died because she was a villain. The problem is she went out like shit. If she went out like a badass, like she was supposed to, because that's how her character was the entire show, nobody would have complained. It's like, oh, she went out in a cool way. That's fine. She went out like any other villain. But since she went out terribly into further Baron's character, basically, to some extent, that's where people had a problem with it. But yeah, I guess anything else?
No.
All right, then. In 2 weeks, we finish up the last 4 episodes of Drive, but we're not done with there just yet. We do have 3 V cinemas to watch because we have a Chase one, then a Heart one, and then a Mock one. So we still have 3 things left to watch before we move on to something else that I don't know what is yet. I have to go to my list and be like, all right, what are we doing next? Because I don't remember. Granted, I keep forgetting that it's like, we were supposed to go back at some point and watch the rest of the Deno movies, but I honestly don't feel like doing that. Like, I wouldn't mind doing that on my own time, but I don't know if I feel like doing that on DGSR, to be honest. Because it's like 6 movies, and I'm like, one of these is probably going to be good. The rest of them are going to be meh.
Fair.
What even is on the list at the current moment? That's not. Oh, right. We're gonna do Futopia next. Never mind. That's what this was planning. Never mind. We did have that decided. I'm dumb. We're gonna move on to Futopia. Anywho, but that will be in 2 weeks. But between now and then, Thursday I'm continuing more cat stuff. We're gonna be working on the Forze Kemi, since that's the next one I have the most work done on. It's gonna be the one that I'm like, we're gonna try some stuff with and hopefully get it to cooperate. Next Friday, potentially Ridercraft.
Unless I decided that I want to do Archipelago, yeah. I've still got to hop in and do Prime on ours.
Saturday will be us doing a full run of Odyssey co-op since we've got everything routed out. Probably have to be doing some Moonskip practice before then to hopefully have Moonskip down. Maybe.
Dang.
That's going to be the hiccup. And then next Sunday will be TGS, where we'll talk shop on the state of play and other stuff. Maybe a Nintendo Direct. Probably not. I saw somebody double down on it. I'm like, if a Direct happens, I will be shocked. Because they said when the next one is. I don't think we're going to have one before then. I don't. But anywho, if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point social in chat gives you the handles for all of our social medias. The exclamation point Discord and chat is the link. Drop by, say hi. We'll see you tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Thursday, folks.